Hello everyone, and welcome back to another preview video for WARNO and the Bernadette milestone, which will bring us a new formation for Pact, which is nice, as that gets us a bit closer to the equilibrium in numbers between NATO and Pact, and it also did unclutter the Berliner Gruppierung by splitting it into two and giving each side a couple extra and interesting formations, making both of these divisions a bit less of a having it all and more based around strengths and weaknesses. Plus, it's also the return in numbers of a good old friend. So let's have a look into 6 Motostrelki Brigade and what it has to offer in a logistics tab, where we have Urals and Grass as pretty good supply trucks already. Especially the Grass is really efficient. You have BMP3s, which are 3 availability, that's good as well. Mi9s, UWATSs, Mi26, which is nice to have as well, and obviously FSP here with its 16,000 supply, also coming in cheaper now, so might be viable in 1v1 now. We're gonna see how that all goes. Infantry tab is an interesting one as well, with one new unit, and the Fallschirmjäger are now only the East German Fallschirmjägers only gonna be in 4th Mot Sch. The Fallschirmjägers that Berliner Gruppierung had were reformed into a new unit, which is closer to Airmobile of the NATO side, with transport helicopters as the transport, not forward deployment. Weapon loadout is still similar to what the Fallschirmjägers have. You have a Medis and the RPG option, and these guys can come in with helicopters, so they are a bit more agile, but no forward deployment. Availability is the same as for Fallschirmjägers as well, so really strong infantry unit. Gonna play a bit different due to the helicopters, and it doesn't give the division extra strong forward deployment in this tab, so might be for sure a bit different there. Outside of that, you have classic units here as well, with Motostrelkis with BMP-1s and Mot Sch with BMP-1s, Saperis coming in here as well. Phobos are pretty nice. SMG unit, 20 points, and they can come in with a SPW PSH here with another MG as well. Polomat coming in BMP-1 PGs, and then the classic ATGMs here. So an interesting unit for sure. The leader here, unfortunately, not a great one. I wish it would be a bigger squadron, somewhat similar to maybe the Green Beret leader. That would have been really nice, but the leaders here, classic ones. The new Luftsturmjäger is not that special either. Artillery, you have a cool new unit here as well, next to CIS-3s, D20s. CIS-3, good old gun here. That's gonna be interesting, but Gwozdika and Eurogun for sure better options, and a new really strong option with an autoloader, the S25 Giant S, with great reload time, or salvo time rather. Like, this thing has really quick reload time between shots thanks to its autoloader, and it can bring havoc to the enemy quite quickly, and it's pretty much on par with the AV1 in the French tree now, and both of these artillery pieces can be quite scary. So, yeah, and 2 S5 Giant S, good weapon system. And it's gonna be interesting to see what it can do. You get good availability on it as well, so gonna be interesting, especially as the supply tab does support it as well. Tank tab, it's the return of a real T64 division, and it's nice to have a T64 formation finally around again, as the tank was heavily underrepresented, as obviously we will see a lot of it in Northag, but having it here now more represented in the base game before we get any DLCs is nice as well. Having a T64 BVK, a T64 BV and B is in good numbers. You can get 4 cards of the normal T64s and then 2 more extra cards of leaders. So if you want to get 6 cards of T64s, you can do so. Get 1 card of T80Bs as well, if you want to have a bit of a faster tank, and that is slightly better armored, though you don't have the reactive armor that the T-64BV has, and you have a worse ATGMs, so there are reasons to take T-64s for sure. Rapira, nice as well. You get some T-55s as cheap tanks to fill in the gaps as well, so really good tank loadout. Taps, not amazing, but solid. And assist 2s if you want to get a bit memey as well, and get some nice side shots also. Assist 2 has good things to offer here as well. Then, in the recon tab, you get pretty standard stuff with the BRDM, the Red Redka, the BRM1, and the Mod Aufklärer, which can come in BMP1s as well, which is all nice. And then you get two interesting units. One of them is the Mi-2 US Adder, which has 4 PKT MGs on the sides, so somewhat similar to Gazelle Cannons, but no penetration, though a bit more firepower against infantry. Interesting little recon helicopter, okay availability, range not that amazing, but it can do a bit of damage to ground targets, though with 4 hit points gonna be somewhat hard to make it work, but it doesn't really pay in much extra for the guns and so on, so might be worthwhile to take as a recon helicopter. And then you have the Spetsgruppe A, which are some extra false flag units that we will see here now, but another one with really cool skins, similar to what we have with the American forces in Berliner Gruppierung. And these guys here coming with the equivalent here, including some nice punkers, lovely businessmen, and some football fans as well. So really interesting one. Here Adidas still is in charge of German tricots, like IRL now, at least in the future. SDK, SVD, Dragunov, and Scorpion is a weird weapon loadout though. No AT makes it less effective in the early game as well. But Special Forces still makes this, and Shock makes this a decent CQC unit together with the TNT for sure. Scorpions unfortunately are just really weak though. I wish there would be some changes to Scorpions and Uzis and so on, that they would be maybe lower range and a bit more damage as a trade-off, but at the moment they are just not that great. So we're gonna see how that all goes. And then Helicopter tab has another one of these Mi-2 weapons weapons on the side. This one bringing a 23mm with penetration, so Gazelle Cannon, but extra rockets. Though rockets are relatively small ones, so they won't deal massive damage, especially with the current power level of rockets. But the 23mm is nice, and it's a really cheap helicopter, so gonna be interesting to use this one. Really slow one as well, though. Not easy to use. You get some Mi-8s here as well, including one version with AA missiles, the R60, and 2 really big S-24 rockets, and then some smaller rockets. A really interesting loadout for this Mi-8, one of the new air-to-air helicopter here. The R60 though, relatively bad AA missile. And then you get an interesting new plane in the air tab as well, which is a trainer plane with some bombs. The L-39ZO, which in this division comes with napalm and with 2 500kg bombs, which is a really strong loadout for 80 points. Though this one also is really a slow plane. It's on the speed of the Alpha jet, and it has 0 ECM, so it really has no survivability whatsoever, 6 hit points. But if it drops its bombs, it can be quite annoying. And you also get the MiG-31 and B in this division now. The 79th gets a new MiG-29 version instead of the MiG-31, which has some interesting loadout as well. We're gonna have a look on that in a future video. The MiG-21s here, for sure, solid units as well. No HE bomb version though. HE bombs only coming with the trainer planes. And then the MiG-21 BIS AA, only the normal missile version one here, no shotgun missiles on this one, so not the greatest AA fighter either. So yeah, really interesting division. Air obviously not the key part of this division, as above Berlin the long-range interceptors are key, and outside of that, enemy doesn't have much air defense, so bombing them with older planes is fine, whilst the better ones are used on the front line where survivability of them is more key. So leaving this division with interesting flavor. T-64 for sure being one major strength of it, then the mix here of East Germans and Soviets in the infantry tab, with the new Luftsturmführer here being a bit of a heli-borne division in general. The Mi-8 Escortny can come together with these guys. I feel like this is overpriced. If it would be a bit cheaper, that could be interesting. And also A8 tab, you have the Buk. I nearly forgot about that. Tunguska here, quite strong as well. Only one card of those though. And outside of that you have Iglas. Yeah, Buk, really strong. You get 2 cards, so this can lock down air pretty easily. And yeah, it's quite high tech there. You don't have to rely on your aircraft to keep the sky clean. The recon tab is decent. The tank tab is pretty good as well. It's gonna be interesting to see where this division lands up. It has strong units in every tab, but none of them seem to be quite on the max level. But should be more interesting, slightly slower for a version of 39th maybe, with no BMP2s, but interesting new artillery, some special forces, and some strong air defense as well. Plus, yeah, the T-64 is just rolling forward pretty cost efficiently. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye, and have a great day.